When your parrot looks at you and says hello or whistles your favorite tune, do you know what is actually happening inside their mind? You probably think they are just a feathered tape recorder, repeating sounds they've heard to get a reaction or a treat. But the truth is far more extraordinary than that. When you understand what science has actually discovered about the parrot brain, the way you listen to your bird will change forever. Most owners have no idea that their parrot isn't just mimicking. They are engaging in a form of communication so sophisticated it rivals our own. Let us start with what is actually going on inside that small, vibrant head. 1. Your parrot possesses a brain structure that is unique in the entire animal kingdom. For a long time, scientists wondered why parrots were so much better at talking than other birds. We knew songbirds could learn songs, but parrots could learn almost anything. In 2015, researchers discovered the secret. It turns out that parrot brains have a core and shell system that evolved at least 29 million years ago. While songbirds have a core area in their brain dedicated to vocal learning, parrots have an extra layer, a shell, or outer ring, that surrounds these cores. This shell is a parrot-specific addition that doesn't exist in other vocal learning birds. And here's the fascinating part. The species with the largest shells, like African greys and macaws, are the ones famous for having the most elaborate vocal repertoires. This extra neural hardware is what allows them to bridge the gap between simple imitation and complex communication. It is not just a fluke of nature. It is a specialized evolution designed for massive vocal flexibility. When your parrot picks up a new word or mimics the sound of your microwave, they aren't just being a copycat. They are using a 29-million-year-old biological supercomputer designed to integrate sound, social context, and physical movement in a way that is almost entirely unique to them. 2. Your parrot might actually understand exactly what they are saying. For decades, the scientific community believed that animals could only use labels if they were trained with rewards. Then came Alex, an African gray parrot, and his caretaker, Dr. Irene Pepperberg. Alex changed everything we thought we knew about animal intelligence. He didn't just repeat words. He used functional English to communicate his needs and his observations. If Alex wanted to go back to his cage, he didn't just squawk. He said, "Wanna go chair?" If he was tired of a testing session, he would say, "I'm gonna go away." But it went even deeper than that. Alex showed true understanding. He could look at a collection of objects and tell you which ones were the same and which were different based on color, shape, or material. If you showed him a yellow wooden block and a yellow metal key and asked what's the same, he would answer color. If you asked what was different, he would say matter. He even understood the abstract concept of none. If there was no difference between two objects, he could actually identify the absence of a category. This wasn't mimicry, it was cognitive processing. Alex wasn't just parroting words. He was using them as tools to categorize and manipulate his world. When your bird asks for a nut or says good morning when the sun comes up, they may not have the vocabulary of a human adult, but they are operating with a level of intent that most people completely underestimate. 3. In the wild, mimicry is a survival tool and a social glue, not a performance for humans. We often think parrots only mimic because they are in our living rooms. The researchers have documented wild African greys mimicking at least 9 other species, including other birds and even bats. Why would they do this? Because parrots are intensely social creatures who live in complex, fluid societies. In the wild, being able to match the sounds of your flock is like having the right password to get into a club. It signals belonging. It provides safety. It tells the other birds, "I am one of you." Researchers studying lilac-crowned Amazons found that these birds have an incredibly diverse vocal repertoire, using over 100 distinct note types across 9 different behavioral contexts. They have specific calls for nesting, threats, foraging, and even for taking off and landing. Each of these calls has acoustic features tailored to the situation. For example, their alarm calls are emitted at a very high rate, about 3.6 notes per second, to signal immediate danger. This proves that their vocalizations are not random. They are context-specific. They are a language. When your parrot makes a specific sound when you walk into the room or a different one when they see the vacuum cleaner, they are using their wild instincts to categorize their environment. They are trying to communicate the state of the world to you, because in their mind, you are a member of their flock. 4. Your parrot is one of the only creatures on Earth that can truly feel the beat. This might seem like a fun party trick, but it is actually evidence of a profound neurological connection. Think about the famous cockatoo named Snowball who became an internet sensation for dancing to the Backstreet Boys. When scientists studied him, they realized something incredible. He wasn't just moving randomly. He was synchronizing his movements to the external beat of the music. This is called rhythmic entrainment, and it is a rare ability in the animal kingdom. Even our closest primate relatives, like chimpanzees, struggle to do this. For a parrot to dance to a beat, their brain has to have a highly developed link between the auditory system, the part that hears, and the motor system, the part that moves. This is the same neural circuitry that allows them to be such great vocal learners. Because they can map what they hear onto their own physical movements, they can recreate complex sounds and even complex rhythms. This auditory motor integration is a sign of a high-functioning, flexible brain. It means they aren't just reacting to sound, they are processing it, internalizing it, and responding to it with their whole bodies. If this is changing how you see your feathered friend, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. We dive deep into what animal behavior actually means, moving past the myths to find the real science. Up next, we look at the emotional weight behind those sounds you hear every day. 5. Your parrot uses sound to build an emotional bridge between their world and yours. Because parrots are neurochemically wired for social bonding, their vocalizations serve a purpose similar to the bonding hormone oxytocin in humans. In fact, specialized gene expressions in the parrot brain, like the genes PALB and SLIT1, help support the neural connectivity required for this flexible communication. They aren't just learning words, they are learning you. When a parrot mimics your laugh, they aren't just mocking you. They are attempting to mirror your emotional state. They see that certain sounds correlate with certain moods and outcomes, and they use their unique brain architecture to participate in that reality. This is why a parrot might comfort an owner by mimicking a soothing phrase they've heard before, or why they might use an angry tone when they feel neglected. They are reading the social temperature of the room and using their voice to regulate it. They don't have hands to hug you or a tail to wag in the same way a dog does, so they use their most powerful tool, their voice. All of this leads to a singular conclusion that changes the way we define the bond between humans and birds. Your parrot is not an echo. They are a highly intelligent, socially complex being that has spent millions of years evolving the ability to connect with others through sound. They don't just see a human who provides food. They see a social partner whose language is a puzzle they are driven to solve. When they speak to you, they are using a brain shaped by nearly 30 million years of history to tell you that you belong. They aren't just repeating what you say. They are listening to who you are. And to them, every word is a way to bridge the gap between your world and theirs, proving that they aren't just mimicking, they are reaching out.